Medusa, with her snake-like tresses and petrifying stare, is a figure that looms large in Greek mythology, but there's a wealth of untold tales about her. The tale you've seen on the silver screen is merely a snippet of her intricate past. Some claim she was a woman cursed into monstrosity, while others believe she was a mythical being from the start, and some view her as an emblematic figure. By the time this video wraps up, you'll have unraveled the rich narrative fabric that weaves the myth of Medusa. Although Gorgon is often used interchangeably with Medusa, its roots stretch back much further, potentially to 600 BC. Over the eons, the depiction of these creatures has seen substantial transformation. The term Gorgon originates from the ancient Greek word gorgos, which translates to dreadful or grim. Over time, the Gorgon has become the creature we recognize today. In Greek mythology, there were other figures that bore resemblance to Gorgons. A prime example is the Erinyes, also known as the Furies, winged avengers who punished severe sins. Their depictions often featured serpents entwined around their bodies, hinting at an early portrayal of Gorgons. As Greek mythology evolved, new characters linked to the Gorgon narrative emerged. Notable among these are the elder Gorgon, who some myths suggest could be Medusa's father, and Euryale, the daughter of the Titan Helios. These early Gorgons had distinct appearances, often characterized by features like beards and curly hair, quite different from the later, more familiar portrayal of Gorgons as snake-headed women. By the 8th century BC, literature became a driving force in shaping the Gorgon narrative, with Medusa taking center stage in Homer's epics, the Iliad and the Odyssey. These works introduced Medusa as a formidable entity, her snake-covered head and petrifying gaze becoming legendary. Interestingly, Homer's epics mention only one Gorgon, Medusa. Another Greek poet, Hesiod, wrote Theogony, a poetic account of the origins and genealogies of the Greek gods. In Theogony, Hesiod introduced the three Gorgon sisters, Stheno, Euryale, and Medusa, with the latter standing out as the only mortal. However, the nature of her mortality remains a subject of debate. Was she mortal in her appearance, contrasting her monstrous sisters, or was she mortal in her susceptibility to aging and death? The narrative takes a twist with the poet Pindar, who paints Medusa as a fair-cheeked maiden, signaling a shift in her portrayal from a fearsome creature to one that embodies both beauty and terror. This evolution highlights not just her fearsome gaze, but also her captivating allure. The Roman poet Ovid, in the 8th century AD, offers perhaps the most poignant and debated version of Medusa's tale, one that is both enchanting and a source of contention for centuries. Ovid's approach to mythology is distinct in three primary ways. He adds depth and emotion to myths, often dramatizing them. He isn't afraid to cast the gods in a less than favorable light, exposing their flaws, and his perspective sometimes veers from the traditional Greek interpretation. In Ovid's narrative, Medusa is portrayed not as a born monster, but as a human maiden. Originally a beautiful maiden known for her lovely hair, she served as a priestess in the temple of Athena, the virgin goddess of wisdom and warfare. However, Poseidon, the god of the sea, became infatuated with Medusa and pursued her despite her attempts to escape in Athena's temple. Upon discovering the desecration of her temple, Athena was enraged. Instead of punishing Poseidon, she directed her wrath towards Medusa, transforming her beautiful hair into a mass of hissing snakes, turning her into a Gorgon. From that point on, anyone who looked directly at Medusa would be turned to stone. This depiction of Athena acting out of jealousy rather than justice challenges the conventional image of the wise and righteous goddess. The narrative of Medusa, especially as depicted by Ovid, has been dissected and interpreted in countless ways, each revealing different facets of her character and the societal norms that influenced her stories. Later Greek adaptations sought to cast Athena in a more compassionate light. In these retellings, Athena's transformation of Medusa serves not as punishment but as a protective measure, making Medusa a Gorgon to ensure that no man could ever harm her again, granting her a form that commands respect and fear. Another perspective argues that Medusa's transformation was a consequence of her own pride, by daring to equate her beauty with that of the gods. She incurred their wrath, aligning with numerous Greek myths where hubris or excessive pride incurs divine retribution. Medusa's symbolic legacy is vast. Her visage was painted on protective shields for women, and her role post-death, where her severed head aids Perseus in defeating the sea monster Cetus, further amplifies her influence. Athena's choice to feature Medusa's head on her shield cements Medusa's standing as both a protective emblem and a symbol of formidable power. Medusa's character is not confined to a singular narrative or trait. She represents a spectrum of roles from victim to monster, from maiden to protector, and from a symbol of hope to a beacon of monstrosity. Her multifaceted nature and the emotions she evokes make her one of the most compelling figures in Greek mythology. Medusa's tale, rich in symbolism and interpretations, has transcended its ancient Greek roots to resonate deeply in contemporary culture, reflecting various themes and messages. Over time, Medusa's image underwent a remarkable transformation. Once feared for her monstrous appearance and her ability to petrify with a mere glance, she has evolved into a symbol of protection. Her once terrifying face became a beacon of safety, prominently featured on women's shelters and the protective amulets known as the Gorgonian, which were believed to ward off evil spells. The Gorgon motif, which gained immense popularity in ancient Greece and Rome, continues to be a cherished symbol of protection today, finding its place in jewelry, home decor, and various artifacts. In recent years, Medusa has been championed by some feminist movements as a symbol of female empowerment. The paralyzed man with her gaze is interpreted as a potent metaphor for challenging patriarchal norms and asserting female strength. The founder of psychoanalysis, Sigmund Freud, provided a unique interpretation of the Medusa myth. He theorized that the Medusa head symbolized a man's deep-seated fear of castration. According to Freud, the serpents in Medusa's hair were symbolic of the male organ, and her petrifying gaze was a metaphor for male impotence. Contemporary films, such as Clash of the Titans and Percy Jackson and the Olympians, showcase Medusa in diverse roles, ranging from a formidable foe to a tragic heroine. While these adaptations might deviate from classical interpretations, they introduce Medusa to newer audiences, ensuring her legacy remains vibrant and relevant. Medusa's enduring appeal is a testament to her multifaceted nature. She is not just a character from Greek mythology, but a symbol that has evolved and adapted to reflect the values, fears, and aspirations of different eras as society continues to evolve. So too, as the narrative of Medusa, she serves as a reminder that stories, no matter how ancient, can be reinterpreted and reshaped to reflect contemporary values and beliefs. Medusa's story is not just a tale from Greek mythology, but a reflection of the human experience, highlighting the complexities of identity, power, and transformation. What do you think of Medusa? Do you see her as a monster or a symbol of female empowerment? But recognizing the actress? If you don't want to miss the next installment of Mythology, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications.